Hey everyone! So, I'm currently in Florida visiting my family that lives here. For those of you who don't know, I have a little sister named Grace, and she is 6. And she and I always stay in the same room whenever I'm visiting, which is always super fun. However, she has a lot of stuff. So today, Grace and I have a lot of time together, just the two of us, and so I offered to help clean out her room and declutter the entire space. So this is something that I've been doing with my own home, and I see a really good opportunity for Grace and I to do this together and to declutter her space. So I feel like with kids' rooms, in my experience at least, I'm a full-time nanny, so I spend a lot of time in other people's homes, and I don't have any kids of my own, but having Grace as a little sister definitely makes me spend a lot of time around kids and in kids' rooms. And I feel like they just accumulate a lot of stuff. And at least I did when I was a kid. I would just accumulate like beaded necklaces and I don't know, like cups from different events and stuff, like a lot of just really weird things. Because I know that I come from a family that likes to keep a lot of stuff, which there's nothing wrong with, but I personally don't want my house to look like that. So I think when I have kids, I'm going to be practicing a lot of minimal stuff just to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen in my house, because I know that I'm prone to making this happen. So I think that this is a good start, and this is going to be a really fun activity for Grace and I to do. My mom has told me that in the past, when my mom has decluttered with Grace, that she mourns the things that she's losing. And, you know, over the next few weeks, she gets really upset about the things that she does not have in her room anymore. So normally what I would recommend with kids especially is to do this when they're not around, because most of the time when they don't see the thing leaving their room, then they don't think about it anymore and they don't ask for it later, that kind of thing. Because if they do, then, you know, I would feel really bad about getting rid of something that they really liked. But I don't live in this house and I don't know what she normally plays with and what she doesn't, just from my own observation. So what we're going to do is we are going to box everything up that we get rid of today, because I plan on getting rid of a lot. And we are going to keep it for 2 or 3 weeks and see if she wants anything from the boxes that we have put together. So Grace and I had a conversation this morning about that, and how if in the next few weeks she wants something that we decided to get rid of initially, that she can definitely have that back, and she just has to ask for it. So I think that that's going to be a good remedy for the fact that my mom isn't here, or that anyone that lives in this house isn't here with me doing this, because I don't know what she normally plays with. Obviously she does, but I think that this is going to be a really good opportunity for her to see what she owns and then just keep the things that she really loves. So I'm going to be loosely using the KonMari method. If you're trying to declutter a space, you completely take everything out of that space. For example, this bookshelf behind me. You take everything out of that bookshelf, and then you pick up every single thing that was in that bookshelf, and then you look at it and you say, does this serve a purpose, or does this bring me joy? And is this really important to me to keep? And if so, then you put it back and you put it where it belongs, and if not, then you put it in the donate or the trash pile. So I think that's what I do in my own home, and it really helps me declutter a specific space. We're going to go section by section in this room because there is a lot, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. But yeah, I think that that's a really good method to use, especially when you are beginning minimalism or declutter journey, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm really excited to do this. I stay in this room every time that I come home, and I only come home a few times a year, but it always stresses me out personally, staying in this room, because I feel like I'm going to step on something or I'm going to break something in the middle of the night. So I'm excited to get part of this space back for myself, and I'm excited for Grace to be able to see what she owns and what she loves, and keep what she loves and get rid of the things that she doesn't use anymore. So let's get started. Let me show you the space so you can see what we're working with. So kind of a change of scenery here, but I am back in Colorado. I got back last night from Florida. I am so happy with the way that Grace's room turned out, and I kind of wanted to talk to you about the experience of clearing out a room that much with a 6-year-old, because it was really interesting to watch Grace make the decisions that she made and what was challenging for her and what was easy for her, that kind of thing. So the first thing that we started with were her stuffed animals, and that was a really hard thing for her to get rid of. At first she said she wanted to keep 4, and I told her that she could keep up to 10, and then we eventually bumped it up to, sorry, this is my dog's paw. And we eventually bumped that up to 11. That was probably the hardest thing for her to get rid of, was her stuffed animals. And I think what's important to remember when you're trying to declutter someone else's stuff, especially because, you know, like for yourself, you know what's important to you. You know, it's very easy for you to know what you... She's so cute. When you're decluttering your own stuff, you know what's important to you, and what you want to keep, and then what you just, you know, it's very easy for you to know internally the emotional attachment that you have to things. But when you're trying to declutter someone else's stuff, even if it's a 6-year-old, I think that it's a lot harder to know what's important to them and what's not important to them and that kind of thing. And then it's hard for a 6-year-old too to kind of process those things and look at 2 things that she owns and decide which one is more important to her. You know, that's hard for a child to understand. So the stuffed animals was a really hard thing, and I am so proud of her for the decisions that she made to get rid of so many stuffed animals. It was also really interesting to see what was very easy for her to get rid of. What was really easy for her to get rid of was books, and, you know, it turned into like, yes, no, yes, no, 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 yes. And I told her that in the space that she keeps her books on the headboard of her bed, we wanted to cut that storage space down in half. So the area that her books were at, we wanted to cut it down in half because that's the space. We just wanted to take up 1 shelf on her bed for books. So I told her that we wanted to keep the no pile as tall as the yes pile and make sure that they were even, and that, you know, the yes pile wasn't getting bigger than the no pile because we wanted to cut it down in half. And it was so easy for her to go through her books. She decided to keep things that she hasn't read yet because we did do this in February. So she just had Christmas and Valentine's Day, and in my family, they do give gifts for Valentine's Day. There were a lot of things that were new to her that she wanted to keep, just because she hasn't read them yet, and that's fine. So I think that it was really interesting to watch her struggle so much with the stuffed animals, and then it become so easy with her books. It was also really nice to have my mom involved later in the day, because obviously she lives there with Grace, and, you know, she's her primary caretaker, she's her mom. So it's a lot easier for my mom to know like what she does play with and what she doesn't play with. So I'm glad that we waited to do toys when my mom was available to help us. So that was really nice. So all in all, I am really happy with the way that it turned out. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I stay in that room whenever I'm home, and it's always stressed me out so much to have so much stuff in there, just because like I'm worried I'm going to step on a Lego or like a toy or something in the middle of the night because Grace goes to bed earlier than I do. So it just makes me feel better as a guest, you know, in the home, to be comfortable in the room that I'm staying in, especially if I'm staying in there for, you know, a couple weeks at a time. And I'm also really happy that I was able to do this, you know, that I was able to do this experience with Grace. She is young, and in my opinion, I think it's important to teach kids when they're young to value the things that they have. And I just think that it's a hard thing to teach when you have a lot of things. Grace was very excited about some of the things that we found in her room that she had thought that she lost or that she didn't even remember receiving. So that was really nice. Obviously, that's, you know, a perk of doing this whole process. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about the whole experience. I'm so glad that I did it, and I'm so glad that I filmed it because, you know, it's not every day that I get to help my sister and my whole family. I mean, both of my parents were really thankful for what I was doing, and I'm glad that they were grateful for what I was doing because, you know, I didn't want to feel like I was encroaching on their space and judging them for anything that they've ever, you know, done in their life. Because that's absolutely not what my intention was at all. I just thought that it would be nice to get rid of some of the baby toys and stuff that Grace doesn't play with anymore, and then also teach Grace what it feels like to donate things to needy children. So I'm going to sign off. thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this interesting, and you know, if you know me and my sister, if you know my family, then I hope that you found it interesting to see what Grace's room looks like and what it looks like now, and I'm very happy how it turned out. So I hope that you all have a great day, and I will see you later. Mwah. Bye!